Hello, today I'm reviewing my new Z-Lite chef knife, and I've been wanting a new knife for a very long time, and I am definitely ready to get rid of my old chef knife, which I've had for probably 15-20 years. This one is high quality and it's high carbon stainless steel. There's also a full tang, which means it goes all the way from the tip of the blade to the tip of the handle. It's not just some little partial tang knife that's glued in or riveted in. I once had, when I first got married, the cheapest knife set ever, and it actually came out of the handle. It was just this little tiny little nub glued in. It was the worst. I worked in catering for 13 years, and now I stay home with my kids. I work part-time, and I no longer work 12, 14-hour days in the kitchen as a catering manager, but I still have some kitchen experience, and I've always admired the chefs, how they have their knife sets. They're very high quality knives. That's the tools of their trade, so they treat them very well. They hand wash them. They never let anybody else use them. They carry them back and forth to work in special cases, and the knives each have their own slot in the case. And the chef knife is the go-to knife for all of the chefs in the kitchen. And they don't even really use much of the other knives. They just use their chef knife 90% of the time. So something like this is really important, and I love this handle. The handle is actually rounded, and it's a little thicker right here than it is here and here because it fits the contour of your hand exactly right. And this is really important to me, to have knife comfort. My other knife is very thin. It's just not comfortable when I have to chop up a lot of stuff. And I had carpal tunnel surgery on my hand. Right here you could see this is 12 years ago, and there's a little scar that goes from here to here. It's actually both hands, but my right hand especially is affected since I'm right-handed, and I need to have comfort at all times. And check this out. I've never seen a rare, this is rare. This is a tapered bolster. This part right here, when you're cutting, you want to put your thumb and your finger right here for control. So when you're doing large chopping jobs, you keep the tip of your knife on the cutting board. And I was at the Culinary Institute of America in Hyde Park, New York for a training session. It was only a week-long training session. And I'm not a trained chef. I don't have a culinary degree, but for manager training, my company did send me there. This is a long time ago. But the chef told us never go chop, chop, chop and make that loud banging sound with your knife. That's not necessary. He instructed us to keep the tip of the knife on the board when you're cutting. Curl your fingers in and grip like this. Don't stick your fingers out like this or you could accidentally cut yourself. So, and I'm not a professional, but he did teach me that. So you kind of move the celery, onions, whatever you're cutting towards the knife, keep the tip of the knife on the blade, on the board, and just kind of do a rocking motion. And a good chef knife like this, it's balanced nicely, will make short work of your celery. And I know if I was doing this for hours a day in a professional kitchen like a trained chef, I could do this a lot more quickly, but not bad for a suburban stay-at-home mom. So I know my way around the kitchen probably better than most, since I did work in kitchens, and I sometimes would fill in for the kitchen staff, but most of the time I worked with clients and I booked catering events, and I did a lot of managerial paperwork. So this is a very sharp knife. It doesn't even feel like I have any effort at all when I'm cutting through that celery. So that's very nice. Let's move on to something a little harder, like a lime. I like to have fresh limes in my like infused water, and I always have limes when I have guests over. Now I'm going to cut it from this side. As you know, if you've got any kind of dull blade, if you try cutting it like this, sure, no problem. But oh, look at that. It cuts through like butter. Check that out. So some fresh limes, some fresh oranges, I like to do that for my water. And I also like fresh lime juice for cooking. So there we go. Does great with a lime. Let's check out an orange. Having some nice orange slices is great. And a lot of times when if you're in a kitchen, you'll notice in the professional kitchens, they don't even use paring knives very often. It's just a chef knife. Once you get used to a chef knife, you don't use anything else. I mean, I guess if you're dealing with a lot of raw meat, you use like a boning knife and that sort of thing. Look at that. Very easy to cut. All right, this is definitely a huge step up from what I was using before. And I like to use a bamboo cutting board. That's my new favorite. I know in the kitchen we use a lot of those cheap white boards. I mean, they're not cheap to buy, commercial grade cutting boards, but they would get divots in them, and we'd always be bleaching them constantly, and they're just not as nice as, say, a nice bamboo board. So here's some radishes. Cuts through everything, and of course the final test is a tomato. Look at that. Nice little thin strips of radishes to go with my celery. Make a salad. And then here we go, tomato. If you ever have a dull knife and you're dealing with a tomato, you know that it's horrible. I love thin, thin, thin slices for my sandwiches. Look at that. Paper thin slices. Isn't that pretty? Okay, this is very cool. I like it a lot. I love that it's a very sharp, very sturdy stainless steel. And this handle is very, very comfortable. When you grip it like this, it's very, very comfortable. It's a good weight. It's a good balance. And I noticed that this handle does not get slippery. It's very, very strong, and I'm very, very happy with this. I highly recommend it, and this is a big upgrade, and now I can get rid of my old knife. And also, look at this box. Look how pretty this is. If you're giving a special gift to somebody, look at that. This could be used for storing your knife as well. It's gorgeous. It also has instructions in there, talks about the knife, and it comes with little padding to keep the blade very protected and a little VIP card. Just really, really upscale packaging. This is something very special, and I think this would be good for a gift. My husband's niece is getting married soon, so maybe a chef knife and a set of steak knives would be a really good gift. And something that normally people wouldn't get or register for is a very high quality knife set like this. So I think that would be really good for you know, a special wedding, or you know, a bridal shower gift, something that could be used for many, many, many years. So if you treat this blade well, and I intend to, I'm only going to hand wash it. I expect this to last. I will probably never need to buy another knife again. So I like to hand wash knives. I use like an old bottle brush, and I just scrub the knife with soapy water in the sink, and I let it air dry, and I never put them in the dishwasher, because that's the one thing the chefs taught me, is to treat your blades well, and they will last much, much longer, and you won't need to sharpen them as often. So thumbs up. This is a great knife. If you have any questions, go ahead and post them, and I will try to answer them. Thank you so much for watching my video.